In 1869, a 22-year-old inventor stood before a crowd in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, about to demonstrate something that would change the world. His name was George Westinghouse, and the device he was presenting would save countless lives, revolutionize transportation, and launch one of the most incredible careers in American industrial history. Over his lifetime, Westinghouse would collect 360 patents, establish 61 companies, battle Thomas Edison in the legendary War of Currents, and fundamentally reshape how the modern world moves, communicates, and receives its power. Yet today, his name is far less recognized than Edison's. That's about to change. George Westinghouse Jr. was born on October 6, 1846, in Central Bridge, New York. His father owned a machine shop that manufactured farm equipment, and from an early age, George showed an unusual talent for understanding machinery. While other children played, he spent his time in his father's workshop, absorbing everything about gears, engines, and mechanical systems. When the Civil War erupted in 1861, the 14-year-old tried to run away from home to enlist. His parents stopped him, but by 1863, they finally allowed him to join the fight. He served in both the Army and the Navy, earning promotion to corporal before being honorably discharged. After the war ended, he enrolled at Union College but quickly lost interest. Traditional education wasn't for him. Westinghouse needed to build things. At just 19 years old, he received his first patent for a rotary steam engine. 2 years later, he invented a device to guide derailed railroad cars back onto the tracks. But these early achievements were just a warm-up for what came next. During his travels, Westinghouse witnessed something that would haunt him. Two trains approaching each other on the same track saw the collision coming but couldn't stop in time. The brake technology of the era required brakemen to run along catwalks on top of moving train cars, manually turning brake wheels one by one. It was slow, dangerous, and ultimately ineffective. Coordinating the process was nearly impossible. Trains couldn't exceed 10 cars in length, and thousands of railroad workers were killed or maimed every single year. Westinghouse refused to accept this as inevitable. In 1869, he publicly demonstrated his revolutionary air brake system in Pittsburgh. Using compressed air piped through the entire length of a train, an engineer could now apply brakes to all cars simultaneously with a single lever. The demonstration proved dramatically successful when it prevented a collision in front of assembled witnesses. But Westinghouse didn't stop there. He identified a critical flaw in his own invention. If the airline ruptured or disconnected, the train would have no brakes at all. So he and his engineers inverted the entire concept. They redesigned the system so that constant air pressure kept the brakes disengaged. Any interruption in the line would automatically engage every brake on the train. It was a fail-safe design that remains the foundation of railroad braking systems to this day. That same year, he founded the Westinghouse Air Brake Company. By 1905, over 2 million freight and passenger cars and 89,000 locomotives were equipped with his invention. In 1883, Westinghouse turned his attention to a different kind of power. Natural gas had been discovered near Murraysville, Pennsylvania, and he recognized its commercial potential immediately. He began drilling on his own estate in Pittsburgh, and in the early morning hours of May 21, 1884, his crew struck a pocket of gas at 1,500 feet. The resulting blast blew the top off the derrick. It took him a week to devise a method to cap the flow, but he wasn't discouraged. He was excited. Over the next 3 years, he developed more than 30 patents for safely producing, transmitting, and distributing natural gas to homes and businesses. By 1886, his Philadelphia company owned 58 wells and 184 miles of distribution piping. By 1887, it was serving over 12,000 private homes and nearly 600 industrial customers. Westinghouse had essentially created an entirely new energy industry from scratch. While building his gas empire, Westinghouse became fascinated by electricity. Thomas Edison was already promoting his direct current system for lighting homes and businesses, but Edison's approach had a fundamental problem. Direct current power couldn't travel far. Generating stations were limited to a transmission range of about a mile, which meant cities would need power plants on practically every block. In 1885, Westinghouse learned about a promising technology from Europe, the electrical transformer. Using transformers, alternating current could be stepped up to high voltages for long-distance transmission, then stepped down for safe use in homes. This meant a single power plant could serve an entire region. Westinghouse immediately grasped the revolutionary implications. He imported transformers and generators from Europe, hired brilliant engineers like William Stanley, and founded the Westinghouse Electric Company in 1886. Within a year, he had installed 30 alternating current lighting systems. By the end of 1887, his firm operated 68 AC power stations compared to Edison's 121 DC stations that had taken 7 years to build. Edison fought back viciously. He launched a public relations campaign claiming AC power was deadly, even suggesting that Westinghouse's generators should power New York's new electric chair. Edison's allies arranged for the first execution by electrocution to use a Westinghouse generator, hoping to permanently associate AC power with death in the public mind. Westinghouse responded by hiring the best lawyer in the country to defend the condemned man. He lost that battle, but he would win the war. In 1892, financier J.P. Morgan forced Edison's own company to switch to alternating current and then pushed Edison out of the business he had founded. Westinghouse's vision required more than just transformers. He needed a motor that could run on alternating current. He found the solution in Nikola Tesla's revolutionary polyphase motor. Westinghouse purchased Tesla's patents and put his engineers to work perfecting the technology. In 1893, Westinghouse Electric won the contract to illuminate the world's Columbian Exposition in Chicago, substantially underbidding General Electric. The White City dazzled visitors with electric light, demonstrating to millions of Americans that AC power was safe, reliable, and the future of electricity. That triumph led to an even bigger prize. In 1895, Westinghouse completed the Adams Power Plant at Niagara Falls, the world's first large-scale AC power generation facility. His company installed 10 generators producing 5,000 horsepower each. The plant remained operational until 1961. Nikola Tesla later reflected on their partnership. George Westinghouse was, in my opinion, the only man on this globe who could take my alternating current system under the circumstances then existing and win the battle against prejudice and money power. What made Westinghouse truly remarkable wasn't just his technical genius. It was how he treated the people who worked for him. In June 1881, he became the first major American industrialist to give workers a 5.5-day work week, making Saturday afternoons a half holiday. The planned community of Wilmerding, Pennsylvania, where many of his employees lived, featured houses with running water, electricity, gas, and small gardens. Home ownership was facilitated through salary deductions. He established pension and insurance systems. His factories were well lit and ventilated, with medical facilities for treating injuries. All of this at his own expense, while workers in nearby steel mills endured brutal conditions. His employees called him the Old Man with genuine affection. Unlike Edison, who put his name on virtually every patent from his laboratory, Westinghouse allowed his engineers to keep their names on their own inventions while assigning usage rights to the company. He believed this was part of the dignity of man. Labor organizer Samuel Gompers reportedly said, "If all employers of men treated their employees with the same consideration he does, the American Federation of Labor would have to go out of existence." Even after his triumphs in electricity, Westinghouse kept innovating. His first patent, back when he was 19, had been for a rotary steam engine. Now, decades later, he returned to that concept. In 1895, he purchased the rights to Charles Parsons's steam turbine technology from England. His engineers improved and scaled it dramatically. By 1898, Westinghouse demonstrated a 300-kilowatt generating unit, and the following year, he installed a 1.5-megawatt turbine for the Hartford Electric Light Company. He then tackled an even harder problem, using steam turbines to power ships. Large turbines ran most efficiently at around 3,000 revolutions per minute, but efficient propellers operated at only about 100 revolutions per minute. The reduction gearing needed to bridge that gap had to handle both extreme speeds and massive power without shaking the entire powertrain apart. Westinghouse and his engineers invented an automatic self-alignment system that finally made turbine propulsion practical for large vessels. In 1907, the financial panic cost Westinghouse control of his electric company. By 1911, he had severed all ties with the businesses he had created. His health declined, and on March 12, 1914, George Westinghouse died in New York City at the age of 67. As a Civil War veteran, he was buried at Arlington National Cemetery. He left behind 360 patents, 61 companies, and a transformed world. His air brakes made rail travel safe. His electrical systems power our cities. His approach to workers' rights was decades ahead of his time. And yet, while Edison's name is known by every schoolchild, Westinghouse remains largely forgotten outside engineering circles. Perhaps that's because he cared more about solving problems than about fame, or perhaps it's because his greatest inventions work so flawlessly that we take them for granted. Either way, the next time you flip a light switch or step safely off a train, remember the quiet genius from Pittsburgh who made it all possible. The enterprises Westinghouse built didn't just survive him, they continued to shape industry for generations. In 1953, nearly 4 decades after his death, the Westinghouse Air Brake Company made a major strategic move. Seeking to diversify beyond railroad equipment, they acquired Robert Letourneau's entire earth-moving equipment operation for $31 million. Letourneau had supplied nearly 75% of the Allied forces' earth-moving equipment during World War II. The merger created Letourneau-Westinghouse, combining the Westinghouse name with cutting-edge construction machinery. The division produced innovative scrapers, cranes, and bulldozers until 1968, when American Standard acquired the parent corporation. That equipment lineage continues today through Komatsu, still manufacturing some of the largest loaders in the world.